Historically, 72% of all the deaths in London are related to dragons, fantastical beings invisible to the majority of the people. While unknown to most, some people have been standing up to these dragons. Only inhabitants of reverse London who live in the hidden reverse side of London can see the dragons. Even then, only a selected few become qualified enough as witches or wizards to make direct contact with them. The protagonists of the story are witch duo Noelle Nihashi and Nini Sprankle. They are protection agents for Wingbind WB, an organization for dragon conservation and management. Their mission is to protect and manage the dragons within London on behalf of the people. And speaking of London, let's go ahead and talk about that first, because I think two things that are going to stand out in Burn the Witch for myself and many other people who are experiencing the story is the setting and the creatures. Tyke Kubo's Bleach, I'm going to be making a lot of comparisons with Bleach, by the way, is that Bleach, when you watch something like Bleach, you look at Soul Society and you look at Wako Mundo, which is just so lifeless and nothing happening. You look at Burn the Witch and it's like a complete switch. When you experience Reverse London, you can just tell there's rules set in place, there's regulations, there's people doing their day-to-day lives, and I just love how much life is happening in this universe. So now this is where we have our main protagonists of the story, Nini and Noelle, managing and taking care of the dragons. They're a part of this organization, as I mentioned earlier, and what I really like about both Nini and Noelle is that they're the good guys and the people I want to root for, but they're not exactly good guys who are doing things just cause. They're like, oh, well, is this going to raise my merit? Is this going to pay me a lot of money? Yeah, listen, I'm going to protect people, but you're gonna pay me first, and that's what I love about them. You have someone like Noelle who's soft-spoken but isn't afraid to speak what's on her mind, and then you have Nini who just outright bombastic with her language. And oh boy, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be simping for Noelle, or she's going to be in that category for waifu of the year, because she's definitely the most attractive one. But I did find it funny that Nini is the one who's the idol slash model, but not as curvaceous as Noelle. And yes, they're called witches, but they aren't flying in broomsticks, they are flying with dragons, and they definitely got the Harry Potter-esque outfits, which I'm not too crazy about in general in terms of like the wizardry and all that stuff, but for a lot of people who are into that stuff are going to clamor up for this. I mean, at some point I saw some Vuvuzela horn happening, doing some attacks, Magic 95, crown attack. So what exactly is happening in Burn the Witch? You have Noelle and Nini managing and taking care of dragons, and joining them is the clumsy yet the guy who simps for Noelle called Balgo. And Balgo is a dragonclad. And why is that important? Well, because he attracts dragons. And in this universe where you're trying to conserve and protect the dragons, someone like him, maybe he can attract not just cute little adorable dragons like his pet throughout the 3 episodes, but maybe some big, rare, mystical, dangerous dragons that are also putting society in harm's way. What I really like about this, there's a moment where one of the civilians who's just working on his house accidentally bumps into Balgo, and Noelle and Nini are like, oh hey, I'm glad you're okay, and don't worry about your house because there's dragon insurance, so we got you covered with that. But did you touch the dragon? Because if you touch the dragon, either 2 things are going to happen to you. You're going to face 100 years in prison, or you're either going to die. So very early on within Burn the Witch, you can see where this story is trying to go, as the girls are just trying to do their normal 9-to-5 job. Balgo is attracting the good types of dragons and the wrong kind of dragons, and with that, different organizations have their own agendas trying to handle, or how they think they should handle, these dragon attacks to society. And this is where we get several side characters, and the things that also stand out with those side characters are the dragons. Much like Hollow's and Bleach, Tyke Kubo's character designs with these dragons just stand out in the best way possible. There's cute, adorable dragons, there's scary dragons, there's faceless dragons, and there's mystical, shiny dragons that are only heard about in fairy tales and old textbooks, but luckily for us, we get to experience and see one of them. That being said, one of the standout moments in Burn the Witch happened in episode 1, where Noelle and Nini were trying to fight off a faceless dragon in the city of Reverse London. And with that, you see the backgrounds. I didn't talk about the backgrounds. The backgrounds are 3D, meshing in with the 2D. Think of it like Attack on Titan, and it's just so fluid. I mean, the animation in this was just so spectacular, and what was happening on screen, I felt like I was in a roller coaster, just experiencing and ducking left and right what was happening, and all of it played out like you would imagine a dragon attacking a city would. Lots of destruction and debris, and again, because this world is so lively, there are consequences to that. Noelle and Nini may not get paid as well, or their reputation is going to be docked a few points. And that's the thing I just always kept on smiling about. It's just this world building to the events that are happening in Reverse London and how people react because of it. I already mentioned the animation and the sound design were already fantastic, but I also wanted to highlight the VA performances, especially out of our main protagonist. All stood out fantastically. I thought they all did such amazing jobs, and I definitely believe that, oh yeah, this is how Noelle would sound and how Ninny would sound, and their mannerisms with how they acted towards one another all seemed very natural to me. And for a lot of Bleach fans wondering, because this does take place in the Bleach universe, does Ichigo make an appearance? Is there any Bleach references thrown in here? Well, in the final episode, and now people tune out if you haven't seen Burn the Witch yet, the branch that they're in, they call it Soul Society West Branch. So there's a little wink and nudge for you Bleach fans out there, but no, Ichigo isn't here. There's no references happening with Hollows or any of that jazz. But to have that possibility at least opened up would be pretty cool. My name is DJ Milez, and as I always say, to be continued, take care.